We detected unusual trades on General Motors stock, ticker symbol GM, on the last trading day. And what's also very unusual is that General Motors reports earnings in a few days on July 23rd. And so in this video, we will analyze this unusual option activity to find out how wealthy investors are trading General Motors for earnings. Are they bullish and buying or bearish and selling? So that we can also trade in the same direction to make money while the rich are getting richer on Wall Street. Because as we all know, the rich have more access to information, including leaked insider information such as earnings reports, to make better financial decisions. Now in this video, we will also update our General Motors trade because 2 months ago, we shared our trade in this video asking if General Motors will move higher based on our analysis of unusual option activity. Clearly it has, because you can see that General Motors hit a new high, breaking above $50 a share on the last trading day. So if you missed this video, we'll put a link at the top here. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on these profitable opportunities. Now, how much profit did we make? Well, let's take a look at the trade that we discussed in this video. They were these 47 strike calls that we paid $207 each. And you can see on the profit loss graph here, which already takes into account the cost of the trade, profit of $155 for each of these call options. And so if we calculate the profit percentage, profit 155 divided by the cost of 207 times 100 for a percentage, you can see that we have made 74% profit so far on this trade. And so we updated this trade because there is now a higher level of risk with earnings coming up. So we managed the risk on this trade by rolling our options strikes to a new trade. So we closed out of this trade, which means we are locking in some profits and rolling to different strike prices, but the same August 16 option expirations. You can see here at the 47 strike calls, we've closed out of these and rolled to these options here. Okay, you can see the 50 strike calls, the 52.5 strike calls, and the 55 strike calls in a new options strategy. Okay, and this strategy, we are selling the 52.5 strike calls, and for each of our trades, we are selling 2, and we are buying the 55 strike call and the 50 strike calls. And so this is our new strategy. When we analyze this trade, you can see here that this is a butterfly strategy. It has a debit of 43, but because we rolled our strategy from our previous trade, taking profits of $155, our new trade is actually a credit of $112. So we need to factor this in of 112 credit, which means that if GM goes down after earnings, there will be no negative loss here. You can see it's always going to be a positive gain. And if it goes up, you can see here a peak profit at around $52.50. We could make $361 max profit. So we can make substantially more on this trade here. And so what we've essentially did was we've eliminated our risk on this trade so that we can still gain if GM goes up, while at the same time, we will not lose on this trade if it goes down after earnings. So this is essentially a risk-free trade that cannot be at a loss anymore. So this is what we do. Not only do we analyze the unusual option activity to find out which stocks to trade, but we also use option strategies to make sure that we get into trades that are favorable risk to reward. Okay, and in this case, when the risk is essentially zero now, the reward is definitely in our favor. And so if you want to learn more about our strategies, make sure to go to our website.
Visit www.unusualoption.com to join our membership and start your journey to a financial success with a partner you can trust.
We will also put a link at the top here where you can learn more about our strategies and the stock picks that have a higher chance of profit trade in comparison to this one here. Because this trade on General Motors is now a lower chance of profit trade because earnings risk is coming up. So keep that in mind. Now, why did we trade this bullish? Well, the data from the last trading day is telling us that it is a bullish signal. What we mean by that is if we take a look at the data on July 18, you can see here at 12:57:44 second mark, there were these trades happening. Okay, and what this trade was doing was for the July 19 options that actually expiring today, they were closing them out. And what they were doing was they were opening the new trade for August 16, 50 strike puts and 50 strike calls. And so these were the new trades. And what they were doing here on this trade for these August 16, 50 strike puts and calls, they were selling the 50 strike puts and buying the 50 strike calls. And when we analyze this trade, you can see that this is a long synthetic strategy, which means that as the price of GM goes up, these options gain in profit. If it goes down, it becomes a negative. You can see on the Greeks, this is a synthetic because it is mimicking stock shares, 100 shares of stock. That's why there's 100 delta per trade. Okay, and by selling these 50 strike puts, cash secured puts, they're essentially saying they're willing to own 100 shares at the strike price. So each contract required $5,000 of buying power. And since there was 9,700 contracts, we multiply that out, this trade required $48.5 million. So this is a very wealthy investor that is putting on a bullish long trade on GM right before earnings. Okay, and that is why we wanted to stay bullish with our trade for earnings, but at the same time we want to reduce our risk by rolling our strategy. Okay, so that is what we are doing for our General Motors trade. Even if it goes down, we will not be at a loss. If it goes up, we will continue to make profits. And that is how we are able to beat the market, by picking better stocks to trade based on the data of what the wealthy investors or insiders are trading. Because not all of them will be winners, so diversification is still very important. And using option strategies to reduce risk while increasing profits. If you want to learn more, make sure to go to our website. We'll put a link over here. And if you missed our video 2 months ago when we predicted that GM would move higher, we'll put a link to this video over here. Let us know in the comments below, what do you think will happen to GM for earnings? As usual, please smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Take care and have a great day.